you're talking to a neurodivergent person and they're silent, it's not being rude. It's not, it's not that they're not listening. It's just that the processing time is different. And sometimes silence is the only way to get through that processing period.
Absolutely. Especially if there are other distractions, and more often than not there are. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating because I can't just tune that stuff out. So it may take me a moment to be conversation ready. Also into this communication piece, try to stick to one topic at a time. Don't jump from this to this to this, because I'm going to get stuck on one thing and then you might be 3 steps down and I'm not going to know what's going on. So solve this one thing and then move on.
So many times I go to clients' homes, online or in person, and they tell me my home's not inspiring, my home is not the place I want it to be. But most of the time it's clutter that it's the obstacle to getting where they want to be. So I'm so happy that you're talking about this. And today we're going to talk about what we do after it's decluttered, after it's organized. So
perfect for them and soothe their soul. And I truly believe that everyone deserves that. Yes. Everyone deserves a home to come home to that they love.
Oh, you said it beautifully. Yes, yes. It's not a luxury. It's a must.
I just decided one day, this is not working for me. I'm used to being around people all the time and now I'm not. So I'm just going to go out and try and meet people and do things. And I just found the best way to really deepen those connections, whether it be the people that you know through work or the friends you already have, or even to make new friends, is to host them in your home. I think as people, letting somebody into our space makes us really vulnerable. And people can connect on a lot deeper level whenever you are vulnerable. It's not a surface level friendship. You're not just meeting them at the park and saying hi, or seeing them at the school parking lot and saying hi. You're actually inviting them into your space. So I think that's the best way to really deepen those connections and build community. It kind of bonds people together when you do that.
I do think every time I look at your house, and I've seen you do this for other people too, it looks like a Pottery Barn ad.
Thank you. That's exactly what I tried to describe my style as, because I don't know, I don't have a specific, I like French country and I like this, but really what I like is a layered look, and it's a mix of different styles, which is great because I think that works for a lot of people. We're not all one style, but you can blend it all together, which is what I hope to teach everyone today.
It's healthy. There's a health to humor. There is a need for it, and we are drawn to it. So if you and I were working in the same office and we're down the hall and we're chitty-chatting and we laugh because a story you shared was charming and hilarious, people come out and say, what's going on out here, don't they? Or you're in a restaurant and the table over there happens to laugh a little bit louder than our table. And we are drawn to that. The adrenaline rush is real and we are drawn to laughter. And that's why April, the whole month of April, is Humor Month.
So I'd like to talk about just some of the things that cause mental clutter that we may not always be aware of, we may not always think about. And one of those is negative thoughts. And what I mean by that are the worries, anxieties, fears that we have. Our negative thinking it'll swirl around in our head, either in our conscious thought, at the forefront, we'll kind of be ruminating about something, or in our subconscious, and you'll know that you're thinking about something because you'll wake up with it at 2 a.m. and you can't go back to sleep.
And so I'm on my mindset path and I'm getting my certification. And then I find this
calling inside of me that's like, I knew, okay, mindset and movement, there is something there, because the mindset, working on how we perceive things, the stories that we tell ourselves, the limiting beliefs that we place on ourselves, right? That's one piece of the pie. And then this other piece is like, what's stuck and stored in the body over years of not processing, not dealing, right? And many women have, what I'm going through. So I was like, okay, mindset and movement, there is magic there.
I teach people visual thinking, which is a very nerdy name that just means getting the stuff out of your head and out onto paper. And I think there's a whole lot of us that this is the way we think, the way we work. Trying to make our thinking linear or step by step doesn't feel right. Trying to learn through listening doesn't feel right. But if we can get our hands on something, then we're good.
Basically, what my goal is to help people get to the root cause of their health problems. I hate to put bandages on symptoms because that bandage can come off and you will get into the symptoms right away, what you were dealing with earlier. So you may feel better for a little bit, but this is not definitely a 100% long-term result. So my goal is to help people get to the bottom of their problem, address it, treat it, because if you can identify the root of your problem, you can come up with the right treatment plan.
So Kelly works with women to correct this imbalance using the Synergy Thrive method, which I'm super interested in learning more about.
Let me tell you that I think that is probably one of the biggest things. It's like, yes, I love working with everybody to try and get themselves into a good spot where they feel good, like they're moving forward. But the other piece is this impact that you can have, because, our little ones, grandkids, kids, they're watching, they're observing everything you do. And so, yeah, it's our job to be good for ourselves, and then naturally that example is set, I think, for those little eyes watching us.
Mindset is everything. Mindset matters. It really does. Being open to healing really and truly matters. And that we'll get into that as we get into the actual meat and potatoes of today's conversation. But mindset and belief that you can take control of your health and your wellness, regardless of what someone else has told you, is truly the first step.
How could I take this and teach it to somebody else in a positive frame of what they could do better? And so my mind was always just wired to hear my professors speaking that way, or reading my textbooks. I was always wired to how can I reframe this as what we can do, or how can we avoid these types of problems to live a better life?
Yes, there is one glaring thing for me that makes it really hard for consumers today. Corporations have always had expert marketers on their teams. But today, what we're also kind of fighting against is the everyday business owner, kind of like yourself, Jess, right? Where you have access to other people who have that same marketing knowledge that corporations have. So basically, everyone is an expert marketer. There's plenty of information out there and knowledge to gain and implement those skills, so that even a brand new business owner can become an expert marketer in 3 to 6 months.
That's my other tip if you're scared. One of them. What's the worst that could happen? You don't like it, right? What's the worst that could happen? But what if it turns out better than you ever planned? We talk about that a lot. And that's the truth, is that you might surprise yourself with, when you keep it simple, how easy it is.
But it's just so interesting because the industry itself wants to treat everyone the same when it comes to their money. Like, just save 15%. Debt is bad. Like, these very hard, fast, black and white rules. And it's so not like that. Like, we all have various money stories and things going on in our head, let alone the actual tangible differences that we have as far as income, expenses. Are you taking care of your parents and your kids at the same time? Are you disabled? So many different things. And it's like, at the same time, they want to squeeze us all into one box. And this is the one way to do your finances. It doesn't make sense, because it's just like, of course, if we're all trying to be like, what is it, the square peg in the round hole, it's just not going to fit. And that's when you find people just ignoring it, hoping it works out, not necessarily pursuing it, because it seems like something that's such a big thing, and it really is not once you get down to it.
And I think it's also important from my perspective to not feel badly if you don't have a good handle on money. It's not about your, I couldn't do that because I don't know. It's an opportunity for, what do I want my kids to be successful at? Understanding money, being able to budget, being able to, like, all those big picture things that we as parents want for our kids. That's where you start. And it doesn't mean that you have to be a model. You can learn alongside. There's nothing wrong with that.